Hi, everybody. We are live. This is
Hello.
so fun. Yes, we are here doing another live episode because I was super busy at the beginning of the week with the Sundance Film Festival. So we decided to do our Friday live episode this time. And it's so much fun always to get together. And I love doing the live episodes. I'm film critic Reese Wagner. Ryan is here.
Hey, Rachel. It's great to be back with you once again. And now that the never boring Sundance 2022 is in the rear view,
Yes.
it's going to be interesting to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do a live recap with my friend Justin, who we did the preview with, and some other friends, and it was Shay from Shay Wiley on Twitter, Shay E. Wiley. She's gonna be on, and then we're going to be just chatting it up and talking. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we have that to look forward to. But yeah, it was yeah, oh, an interesting Sundance. Let's put it that way. And I don't, maybe the fact that I was going into it already frustrated, maybe that made some difference, but I don't think it did. I really don't. There just wasn't very much that I loved. Like, I don't think that I'll have anything on my top 10 or top 20 even from what I saw at Sundance, which is unusual. Usually there's a couple that hang around. Like this year there was Together Together. I mean 2021 there was Together Together and a Flea that ended up in my top 10. So I don't know, it just wasn't a great batch. There were some good films obviously, but I don't know. And I felt like a lot of the films that everybody else was like, wow, I was more
Yeah,
subdued on.
when I was making my movie Nerds Club video for top Sundance winners in 2021, I really didn't know all that much about the winners, and then I started looking at the list, and I'm like, wow, more often than not, at least one or two of my favorite movies of the year
It's a
premieres
good
at
group.
Sundance.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Sundance seems like a good tester for like what's going to be good, like that and
Yeah.
TIFF, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. The other festivals will have one here and there, South by Southwest, Tribeca, um, certainly Cannes is going to have some really good movies, things like that. But we have a comment from Kate Cass Reviews. Hey guys, hope 2022 is treating you well so far, aside from Sundance. Thanks,
It
Kate.
is.
It is. I have very few complaints
Yeah.
for 20.
January just kind of went, and it
I
was like it
know.
was gone.
Yes, of course. I had my birthday this week,
Happy
which was
birthday
fun.
to you.
Yes, the big 4-1 was this year, so that's kind of crazy. It's weird because I am as old as my mom was when I went away to college, so that's a little that's a little sobering. But
And yet, and yet, your love for Disney and Hallmark has never waned.
never waned, never, never. Yes. So I had a good birthday. I was able to see my brother and two of my sisters, and to be able to see my parents, and so it was a nice day.
Yeah, I'm going to be turning 25 this year, and I haven't really thought all that much about it, but it's going to be interesting. I'm weirdly satisfied with where I am in my life and where I'm going to be going. And I'm, of course, I'm hungry. I'm always wanting more, but I'm happy with the positive strides that I've made. I mean, I lost all of my pandemic weight at this point. I'm
That's
leaving.
great.
I'm leaving my comfort zone. I'm actually tomorrow, since this is live, tomorrow being Saturday, I'm in a 5K.
Whoa. Okay. Good.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
at the Daytona International Speedway.
Oh, that'd be
It's
fun.
3.1 miles, and that's about as far as I've ever run. And I'm not going to be in there looking to podium because it's me and like 200 others. I'm just
Sure.
going to finish. If I
Yeah.
finish, then that's going to be a success.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the same way with me with my swims. I mean, I'm usually the last by a bit, so it's all about finishing the race.
Mhm.
That's a big accomplishment. So that's great. I'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, and everyone I've told everyone I've told about it has been like send us pictures. I'm
Yeah.
like I can't take pictures when I'm running, but I'll send you like what my shirt is and my
Yeah.
bib and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe before you start, you can take a selfie or something.
Oh, there you go. That works.
Yeah. Look, Kate also says, "Best of luck, Ryan. That's going to be a challenge. Rooting for you. Love that.
Thank
That's
you,
awesome."
thank you, Kate.
Yes, and please, if you're watching, please leave your comments in the chat room, and then we also have the super chat if anyone feels so obliged. We sure appreciate it. So yeah, have you been able to go to the movies at all the last week or so?
I have
See anything?
I've had the ability. It's just I
There
think
hasn't been a
this
fun
this
much.
January's been weird. Like straight up, this weekend. I think maybe because of Morbius, but this weekend,
Oh
literally
yeah,
nothing's coming out, and
they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have moved it. That was stupid.
yeah, it was very reactionary in my
Yeah.
opinion. But February is somehow looking even bleaker because, I mean, I mean, I was optimistic for Uncharted, but now that I've seen trailers and those awful posters, I'm like, I got a bad feeling about all of this because
Yeah.
Tom Holland is great, but he is not a miracle worker. Mark Wahlberg is great, but he is not a miracle worker, and he doesn't even like he looks like Sully if you were to like look from like 5 miles away.
Yeah, this
Like,
does feel transformery as far
like
as quality level.
here's Sully and there's Mark Wahlberg as Sully, like way over there. And I'm going to keep an open mind as I always do because it might be fun. Who knows? But
Are you going to see Moonfall?
just for like a weird like I'm hoping for a so bad it's good, and even if it's bad, it's gonna make for a really fun review.
Yeah.
So
I have to say our friend Larry enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, he's a
wow,
big
really?
one on those sci-fi, so I don't know. But he liked it. He was going in skeptical and actually said it was pretty fun. So,
Well, actually, this is as good time as any. I think I may have announced this already, but I'm a part of the Banana Meter. I'm a banana approved critic now, so
mhm.
so that's going to be interesting to see where that takes me. But I'm going to be seeing Moonfall.
Yeah.
I'm going to be seeing Jackass Forever. God bless me for that. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix, which should be hopefully good. At least it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2022. But that's going to be interesting to see what they do there. And so I'm just very grateful and lucky to have so many blessings and looking forward to the many more that come. And Rachel, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I just knocked the thing out. Yeah, I am of course, most excited for "Marry Me," the new
Ah,
Jennifer
yeah.
Lopez, to come out in February. I think it looks really cute, and I feel like they'll have really good chemistry. And we're going to talk about second act today. I don't really think that's actually a rom com. It has you think it is, but it's actually really not. Like barely, it's barely the romance. So we haven't had a real romance, a romantic comedy from J Lo since 2012, which was What to Expect When You're Expecting, and that she's more on ensemble. She hasn't had a lead since The Backup Plan in 2010, which was atrocious. I hate that movie, but uh, but yeah, it's been a long time since J Lo has done a rom com.
Yeah, and from what I've seen from the trailers, it at least looks like interesting. I'm gonna take my mom to see it, and
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's definitely gonna be something she would really like.
I'm
But
excited. Another one, I just posted my review today that is getting a semi-sizable rollout is Parallel Mothers, which is from
oh,
Spanish director Pedro Almodovar. And he has a lot of really experimental, really weird movies that I enjoy. But I haven't seen all of his, but this one is actually pretty mainstream. Like if it does have his artistic flourishes here and there, but for the most part, it's a pretty compelling story and it's very well acted. I would recommend if it does come by you. It's a good movie. It's a good story, and very well acted. So,
Yeah, the closest AMC theater to me is in New Smyrna Beach, which is about 20 minutes from me,
oh,
and
okay.
it's getting Parallel Mothers. So I think maybe just to see something, I will check that out because I've seen the discourse online and it's getting some good buzz. So I
Yeah,
think I think I'll just have to take my chances on that.
it's good. It is R-rated, and it's got it is steamy at points. Just so you
Oh,
know. But I thought it was good. I liked it. So yeah, I would recommend that one. But you're right, February is kind of a slow month.
yeah, and usually January is kind of the trash month, really.
I know. I wonder if that will help Uncharted though do well at the box office because it just has like no competition.
Yeah, you got a good point there, but I don't know. I've played all of the games, so I don't think that's really gonna help my enjoyment of the movie. But
Oh,
I've
really?
played all the games. I know exactly what makes an Uncharted, and this movie has been in developmental like he double hockey stick for legit a decade. I remember in 2010 when they announced that it was going into production, and people were like, "Mark Wahlberg isn't Sully. What is it?" And it just kind of went like completely dark. Like no one's heard of
Yeah.
him.
I think a lot of people wanted Nathan Fillion to be Sully. That was more
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah. They did a bit of a short film, if you want to call it, with Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake and Stephen Lang
Oh.
as Sully.
Oh, okay.
And it was like that was perfect. Like do that, but no, we're getting what we're getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They just announced that Jason Momoa is going to be in the new the Fast and Furious 10.
Oh, great.
He's not making very good choices. I mean, I'm sure it'll do well. And he does seem like a good fit for that franchise, but I just really did not like the last one at all.
Let me
It was
guess, he's the
bad.
Rock's brother now.
Yeah, probably. Oh my gosh. Yeah, probably. Well, yeah. I bet they are regretting that Morbius because I think it would have done well. Look how good Scream did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, and also I have to say, so I saw the Scream movie. I I didn't review it because I don't really feel like I'm qualified because I haven't seen any but the first. Um, Boy, they laid on that meta stuff thick.
Don't spoil
I
anything.
won't spoil it,
Yeah.
but boy, they did. I thought it was overkill. It was a lot.
Yeah, my podcast partner Jacob Martin, he actually saw it and he said something along the lines of the same thing. He said the twist is fairly obvious. A legacy character gets a bit of the shaft, and but other than that, the rest of the movie's fine. But I have a feeling that I've seen the first one. I thought it was really good, and I think
Yeah,
I've seen all I need to see for quite some time now.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's always fun to kind of go out of my comfort zone, but yeah, I didn't love it. I guess if that's what the franchise is, people are like, oh, that's what they do. They're very meta. Like, I know it was just to the point where I was like, do they think we're stupid? Like, because you could have the meta ness and not have the characters literally speak it out. It's like the final movie. It's like we don't need you to tell us. We're not stupid. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I'm not asking for every movie to be completely like unself-aware and just be like something like that. I mean, Scream is kind of built on how meta it is. Wes Craven
Yeah.
made the first Scream movie because he was sick of making slasher movies and decided to just burn down his empire. But instead of burning it down, he just built it back and well it kind of had the side effect of doing things like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and pretty much half of the stuff that was mocked in Cabin in the Woods was probably a side effect of Scream's success. But but Scream the very foundation of Scream is built on Wes Craven saying like, hey, like you remember this? Well, here's a trope here. Like that's what it's been built on. But
Yeah.
from what I've read in reviews, people have been like, it goes a little too far, which I'm just not looking forward to because
Yeah,
I'm sick of the meta stuff.
yeah, me too.
I have just become officially sick of it because people like the directors are like, see, look at how smart we are. We're referencing this. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it needs to be competent
Or
first.
just reference it, but don't tell us you're referencing it. We're not stupid. We can see, oh, like for instance, Ghostbusters Afterlife, like it was a little heavy-handed too at times, but a lot of the Easter eggs were just there in the
Mhm.
background or, in clothing or in things like that, so that you didn't have to have the characters be like, "Oh, look, that's it's like the third movie." Like, oh, come on. But I don't know.
Especially the villain, it was definitely like really out of all the villains you could have done, you went with that one. But and I like Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was
Mhm.
quite good. But yeah, I
That is
do see
true.
what you're saying.
Yeah. So anyway, well, today we are talking about Hulu, and we haven't talked about Hulu for a long time, which is it kind of fell through the cracks. I didn't realize it had been so long since we talked about Hulu, and so it's going to be fun. I think it's a pretty solid. We haven't talked about Hulu since August, so
Oh wow.
yeah. Oh, we had a comment. I forgot. Kate Cass says, "Me, an intellectual, waiting in the corner for Sonic the Hedgehog 2."
You and my friend Phil, who is a Sonic super fan.
I'm not a Sonic super fan, but I thoroughly enjoyed the first one, so I'm looking forward to it too. I
Yeah, and the
definitely am.
Sonic 2 trailers have just been really a lot of fun. It
Hmm.
feels like they're finally like understanding like at least what a Sonic related thing is supposed to look like. Sonic looks like Sonic, or not like whatever the first version of Sonic was supposed to be with the weird face and teeth and all of that. Like
Hmm.
they look like Tails looks like Tails, Knuckles looks like Knuckles, Jim Carrey looks like Doctor him playing Dr. Eggman, but it's going to be so much fun. I've missed this Jim Carrey so
I
much.
know, me too. And I've just missed like villains, like over the top, campy, fun villains. I miss them. I'm glad to have it back. I need it.
Yeah, and if you need over the top, you call Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that's true. But also coming this week to Hulu is the miniseries Pam and Tommy about Pamela Anderson and
Oh,
Tommy Lee. I have to say I'm kind of curious to watch it just to see Lily James. She looks unrecognizable. Have you seen the pictures?
I have, and I'm I've all I know about Pamela Anderson is that she was a big sex symbol back in the late
Yeah.
80s, early 90s, and she was on Baywatch. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. And I know Tommy Lee was in Motley Crue. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I know.
Well, the series has Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee, and then Taylor Schilling, Seth Rogen, Nick Offerman are all in it, which I think is interesting. It's a
Oh,
weird cast.
Sebastian Stan is just getting around, isn't he?
I know, and he's in a movie that was at the festival that I actually didn't finish because it was too scary for me, but it was very well done. A lot of people are going to love it. It's it has Sebastian Stan in it, and it's called Fresh. It was it was very scary,
Yeah,
so
I
I
was.
won't give any more spoilers.
Yeah, my good friend Mando over at Suit Up Geeks, like she was really high
Oh
on it.
yeah, like it was very good. It just was too scary for me because I'm a wimp, but it was well done. But that's coming in March to Hulu, so some things to look out for. But we have our list, our 5 picks, and I will start. My first one is a movie from, I think, Paramount Animation that just kind of got missed, even though I like it. It's called Storks. And this is supposedly.
Rachel, you're muted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mike is giving me grief today. Anyway, so this is Storks, and it is all about the storks and how they deliver babies. And there's a girl with amazing red hair that ends up in the world of the storks, and it gets there's an off delivery. And I don't know, I thought it was funny. I loved there's the baby making machine, and they put the on off switch like in between all of these axes, and they just have to get to it. They have to go through all this, and I don't know. I just liked it. I thought it was funny, and I liked the animation. I love her hair, incredible, and it's so sweet. At the end, they show all of the animators with all their babies, and it's really cute. Like I think this is a billion times better than Boss Baby, way better.
Yeah, I've only seen a handful of clips of Storks, and even from what I've seen, I'm like, this is a million times better than Boss Baby. And
Yeah,
Boss Baby was freaking nominated for Best Animated.
yeah. If you want your animated baby fix, this is it. Not Boss Baby. It really is sweet at the end, and they have all different kinds of couples with their babies. It's such a cute montage. So, and it's got a great voice cast: Andy Samberg, Katie Crown, Kelsey Grammer, Keegan Michael Key, who I think is in every animated film.
Pretty much, if
Yeah.
not every one, every other one.
Yeah. And Jennifer Aniston, Ty Burrell, Danny Trejo, Aquafina. The list goes on and on. So there we go. That's my first choice. What's your first choice?
So my first one is a TV series that did not last as long as I would have wanted it to. It is the 2011 reboot of Thundercats. Now, I believe in one of our first or second Hulu episodes, I recommended the original Thundercats show. I thought it was a lot of fun, and so this was my kind of gateway drug into Thundercats. And I remember watching it with my dad because he was a big fan of the original show and showed me the remake, and we watched it together. And this is pretty much the same story as the original. The world Thundera is destroyed by Mum Ra, and so Lion-O, the Lord of the Thundercats, and his group have to flee and go to Third Earth, where they have to fight off Mum Ra, who Mum Ra wants them all dead. And Lion-O has the Sword of Omens and all of that, and this does what I think most reboots should do. It retains what we already know about the original Thundercats, but does it in a bit of a grittier direction. I remember the first episode of the reboot series was all about the destruction of Thundera, and it was crazy because it was crazy seeing just a world just get destroyed. And I won't go too deep into spoilers, but it's pretty affecting. It was affecting on me, at least. The cast in here is really good as well. My man D. Bradley Baker is in here as multiple different roles, as he's probably one to do, and he's great. And I haven't really thought if this one is better than the original. I'm a good chunk of the way through the first season of the original because I started rewatching it, and I've been having fun with that. And I have a lot of memories with the reboot, but the first one is kind of cheesy fun, so they kind of balance each other out. I like both equally.
Yeah.
So I would recommend this as a good gateway into the Thundercats world if you are interested.
Cool. Oh yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking both. So my next choice is one of my favorite movies from 2020. It is Love and Monsters. And this movie was a hidden gem that I feel like one person told another and another told another and another told another. Oh, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. It kind of spread, and then I heard about it from Sean, and so then I watched it because he loved it, and I loved it too. And so then I told people, and it was one of those kind of grassroots type movies, And I was so excited that it got nominated for Best Visual Effects because what they were able to accomplish on a really small budget was very impressive with these really kind of tactile, believable creatures that they designed that were creative and interesting and exciting. It's a dystopian. He's living underground and he really wants to find his girlfriend who is separated from, who's is I forget how many miles, but anyway, is 0 miles away. So he ventures out into the top and it's perilous. There's all kinds of mutant creatures and he learns from Michael Rooker and his daughter how to survive, and that's very entertaining and fun. And then once he actually gets there, he sort of learns all new things, and I just loved it. I loved the characters and the story, and I thought it was great. So, did you ever get to see this?
No, I didn't. I heard surprisingly good things about it, and I never did get around to it.
Yeah, I think you'd really like it. I very much do. So, yeah, if you ever get to see it, let me know what you think.
Yeah, for real.
So what's your next?
So my next choice is another movie from 2020, and that one that fell under the radar for me. It's called Gretel and Hansel. This was directed by Oz Perkins, and this is definitely a very unique looking horror movie. If any of you out there liked the style of The Green Knight, I feel like this is very not similar to, but like very in tune with that kind of sentiment. Basically, this is this is not A24 to the best of my knowledge. If it is, let me know in the comments. But this is basically if A24 made Hansel and Gretel, and you can take from that whatever you want. But I wasn't like thinking like, oh, this is the horror movie of the year. But the atmosphere really hooked me in. Atmosphere is the key to this movie. The witch's lair, just like, it looks kind of like there's all sorts of sharp edges and corners. It looks really menacing. The witch is played by Alice Krige, who I remember as being the Borg queen from Star Trek First Contact, and she was great in that, and she more than brings it here. She is very menacing. And I have never really read the Hansel and Gretel story. I've read parts of it, but I think for some like purists, I think this might be a little deviating from the story, but I think that this, like I said, the atmosphere really just hooked me in. And this is one of the more risky horror movies, but that's what I liked about it. I liked how they took a risk from a music side of things, a cinematography side of things. I just liked how they didn't just do a traditional Hansel and Gretel story. They took a risk.
I had some friends who liked it. I feel like Larry liked it, my friend Larry. But yeah, I remember hearing some good things about it. So yeah, it sounds intriguing. All right. Well, my next one is what you would call your hard left. My next one is Dora and the Lost City of Gold. And when they announced they were doing a Dora the Explorer movie, I thought, oh no, it's going to be really bad because I didn't think that they would embrace the meta qualities of the show. The fact that she'll sometimes break the fourth wall and speak to the audience and get the kids to help her find a clue or a map or something like that. And I love that about the show. It's very interactive. It gets kids thinking and talking and not just watching. So I didn't think that they would include that, but to my surprise they did. I still don't think they should have made Dora so old. I don't understand that. I mean, it's a show for little children, so I don't know why they didn't make her a little child, but whatever. I liked Eugenio Derbez in it a lot. He was good. Michael Pena, Eva Longoria, Benicio del Toro, So it had a really good cast. Your Dee Bradley Baker's in there. Uh, and it was just legitimately funny. I enjoyed it. James Bobbin, who did the Muppets, he did this. He did, and Nicholas Stoller, who also I think did the script for Storks, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he's done a bunch of stuff. And let's see here.
Let's not forget Benicio
Yes,
del.
he did. Nicholas Stoller episode.
Yeah, let's not forget Benicio del Toro was Swiper in the movie.
Yes. So Nicholas Stoller wrote both. Wrote two of my selections. So he's great, and I know I enjoyed it way more than I expected to. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. I was going into the when I heard that this was coming out, I'm like, really? They've officially run out of things to adapt now.
Yeah.
Like Dora is getting a movie, so I went to see it anyway because I try and see most new releases, and I was dreading it, but maybe it was because I set my bar so low that I walked out of there like, did I like that? And sure enough, I did, and
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. What is your next pick?
So my next choice is from favorite animators of ours of favorite animators of ours. I know how to talk.
Uh-huh.
Lord and Miller. It's called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and I love this movie. I love everything about it. I actually read the book before
Uh-huh.
before this movie, and so when I heard it was coming out, I was excited. And yeah, this movie is it's just really funny. I love the animation here. I love how the food looks. The scene where you get the cheeseburgers for the first time, like cheeseburger. It's like
Yeah.
I have never wanted a cheeseburger more in my entire life than watching that in that moment. And then when Flint like bites it, and he's like, "It really works!" It's like it's so good, and the voice cast is really good here. Whoever decided to make Mr. T a cop in this movie deserved a raise because that was an inspired choice. Like Flint Lockwood is excellent. And
Yeah.
this is just really funny, and there's a lot of imagination here. The ice cream used as the snow, and they have like an ice cream snowball fight. It's just I love this movie. Like maybe more than I probably should, and I just love it. One of the traps is the female the female weathercaster. I can't remember her name, but she's allergic to peanuts, and one of the things that the food machine creates as an obstacle is peanut brittle, which I thought was pretty clever. I do love this movie, like I said, more than I probably should.
I was thinking it was Renee Zellweger. It's Anna Faris, actually.
Anna Faris, that's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah. It's a million times better than the sequel. I don't like the sequel.
I wasn't crazy about it, but I didn't hate it.
I don't know. It was just you could tell they kind of had run out of ideas. But yeah, I do love the book as well. I think and it's a tough kind of concept. It's basically like a disaster movie. Um, if we were, how we did the best disaster movies, this one would certainly count. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm. All right. My next pick kind of has to go along with one of the podcasts I've been doing over at Hallmarkies Podcast. If you ever think that I couldn't do a Not Safe for Work podcast, you're wrong because my friend Jax and I have been recapping the And Just Like That series on HBO. And and that is the spinoff or the sequel or whatever for Sex and the City. And so it gets a little dicey at times, but it's a mature podcast, and we have been having so much fun, even though the show is kind of terrible. So
I believe you told me off air that you're having more fun talking about
yeah,
it than actually watching it.
no question. And my favorite thing in the whole world is if I can get Jax, my co-host, laughing, because she has a really funny laugh, and she kind of snorts when she laughs.
Oh,
So
one of
I
those.
love getting her laugh. but they've been doing really well. People really enjoy our kind of takes, and they kind of say I'm the Charlotte of the group, which is the sort of sweet, nice one, and Jax is the Carrie. So we're actually going to, once we finish, which will be next week, we are going to start going back and reviewing the actual show, the Sex and the City show. And so yeah, it's gonna have some spice in it. But a lot of fun too. And the Sex and the City movie, the second one is trash. It's garbage. It's really bad. The first one is fine. Like it's kind of just like a long episode of the show. And it's, entertaining. And you can watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, I my only real exposure to Sex and the City was when I was doing research to start up my channel. I watched a lot of Jeremy Johns' videos, and one of his earliest ones was for Sex and the City
Oh,
2.
really?
And one of my favorite bits of his is basically summing the movie up in 30 seconds, where it's like the first 15 minutes is like, I love what we have, but I wish I had more. Like 30 minutes to an hour. Let's fly to Dubai. Hour to 2 hours and to hours to 2 hours. I miss what we had. It's I'm not doing it justice, but
It's bad. Yeah,
the
it
movie's
is a bad
two
movie, Sex and the City too.
it's 2.5 hours long, which I mean, wow.
Yeah. And it's just it realizes the worst qualities of the original show and then kind of expands upon them. And I mean, and it's no secret that Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker hated each other by that point, if not sooner. So, the chemistry's not quite there. It's just not good. But this one is pretty fun, I would say. So, what's your next pick?
So my next choice is from, I believe, 2019 or 2020. The years kind of blend together, but I'm choosing The Upside. Now, I'm aware that this was a remake of, I believe it's called The Intouchables. Someone help me out.
Yeah, I think that is right.
But I had no real exposure to that one, and I went to see The Upside kind of completely like blind as to what it was about, because I knew two things. Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston were both in it, and I love both of those actors, and I was expecting it to be good, and I actually quite enjoyed it. It's the story of a man played by Kevin Hart who needs to find work really quickly, and so gets hired on inadvertently to be the caretaker of a very rich man played by Bryan Cranston, who has all the money in the world but got paralyzed, so he can't really spend it all that much, and he's pretty much just lost his will to live. And the two just find comfort in each other. And I don't know, maybe it's because I like these actors or I just like the chemistry between them, but I really just enjoyed when they were on screen together. I love when they were in cars together and doing that, I want to call it skydiving thing together. And I can't remember what the activity was called, but I liked when they were in there. I like Kevin Hart's character slowly just getting better and better as a person. And maybe I'll see the original and be like, oh well, it's clearly better than this. But I don't know. I guess I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know a lot of people actually did like it once they saw it, and I think if you can not compare it to the original, or maybe wait and see and don't see the original, I don't know, but then you probably enjoy it. I mean, especially Bryan Cranston is a really good actor. Did you do like a Bryan Cranston series? Just curious because you seem to have seen all of his movies.
I've seen a good chunk of them. Thinking about it, I've seen every episode of Malcolm in the Middle. I've seen every episode of Breaking Bad, and I've seen like every movie of his, like in his renaissance, like from like 2008 onwards. So maybe I inadvertently have. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you have. I wonder because sometimes that happens with when you have a YouTube channel. If you do like uh, I don't know, like I did the Disney parks. I've seen like every movie, Disney parks rankings. I've seen every movie that anything to do with a Disney park.
Oh yeah.
I feel like, why have you seen that? That's what happens when you have a YouTube channel.
for a ranking, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, my last recommendation is a movie I saw at Sundance in, I think, 2020. Uh, and this is called Some Kind of Heaven, and it was set in this huge, I don't know what they call it, this huge place, subdivision, retirement community, I think is what the word is actually, in Florida, over your neck of the woods. Uh, and it's America's largest retirement community, and they have like everything you think you could want in a community, and yet it's an interesting thing because it makes you realize that having lots of activities to fill your time does not necessarily equal happiness.
Yeah,
You know, you have to still be happy as a person, and you still have to have fulfilling relationships, and so it's very interesting kind of on that level of like there's it starts out with all of the panache and the, it seems like a dream fantasy land, but then when you dig a little deeper, it's not as fulfilling as it seems like it should be. So it's a good documentary.
yeah. I've driven by the villages quite a few times, and I've played golf in there, and
Oh, really?
it's quite a nice area. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've definitely grappled with that because it's a really, and this is still my least favorite movie last year, but Dear Evan Hansen, the one good thing that I can glean from that is one of the characters, and I cannot think of her name, but she's the one who heads up all the clubs and all of
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
The whole scene where she talks to Evan about how, like, even though all of she does all of these things, she's still depressed. The movie is still bad. Let's not get
Hmm.
that twisted. But that was like my favorite little like micro moment of the movie when she talks about how she's student body president, she's president of this, she's involved with this, and homecoming that, and all that sort of thing. But it really doesn't matter. She's still unhappy. And so I
Yeah.
it rings true to me because I used to think that my unpopularity in high school was kind of like, oh well, I'm just a loser. But I realized that people who need to be around a lot of people and need to be involved in those activities are hiding something a lot more sinister. I'm not Freud.
Hmm.
I'm not even close. But it's just something that I've
Yeah.
observed.
Well, I mean, and they can be fulfilling part of life, but they
Hmm.
shouldn't be your whole life.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can't substitute.
No. No. So, anyway, it's a good documentary. I recommend it. So what's your last choice?
So my last choice is one that we alluded to before we started. It's from 2019, 18.
2018.
Thank you, 2018, and it is called Second Act. This stars J Lo as a retail worker who basically decides that she's going to improve herself. So she applies for a job at I want to say a skincare company, and she gets it, and she starts climbing the ladder to where she meets a young executive played by Vanessa Hudgens. And should I spoil their relationship or should I not?
Um, I think it's fine. It's old enough.
It
You
turns
giving a
out
spoiler alert?
that Vanessa Hudgens and J Lo are daughter and mother respectively. J Lo had a baby when she was very young that she couldn't afford to keep, so she gave it away and never real and obviously kept her in her heart and thought about her, but just had to she had to do what she had to do. Now cut to about 20 years later, and there they are in the same company. And I saw this movie with my mom, my dad, and my aunt, who is moving to Florida but was formerly living in Colorado. And we all really liked this one. I guess what I like the most is the message of just because you're at I don't want I don't want to say like an advanced age, but like just because you're not really young, that doesn't mean you can't reinvent yourself. I like that. I like the spirit of that. This movie has just an overall very nice message. I
Yeah.
like the comedy in there, and I just, like I said, the message is what I really like.
Yeah, and it's not really much of a romance, very minimally. It's about her pretending to have these degrees and be this job and this person, but she's good at her job. She deserves to get the promotions that she gets, and you understand why she's lying, and you empathize with her, and then the whole, also the whole, uh, you know, Vanessa Hudgens part. So it's kind of two parts going on, and yeah, I like it too. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember really enjoying it. So I'll be excited to maybe revisit it come when it comes time for Marry Me. So I love J Lo. I think she's great. So
Jenny
even
from
if
the
the
block.
backup plan is atrocious. Let's hope Marry Me is better than backup plan, please. Please. I hope so. But I'm so excited because we have Marry Me coming in February, and then we have The Lost City coming in March, which to me looks super fun with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, and kind of looks romancing the Stone-ish. Hopefully it won't be too much of a copycat. It'll be its own thing, but I mean, I'm just like, welcome back, Sandra, to the rom-com. I missed you so much.
We have missed you.
Yes. So, all right, we did it. We did it. And thanks so much, everyone who listened. And yeah, thanks for chatting. It's always fun. And where can people find you and your channel, Ryan?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called RyanCam. I was at 199 subscribers. Now I'm knocked back to 198. I'm 2 away from 200. So if you
So
haven't checked
close.
me, out, please do. I've got on the channel coming up my first reaction to the Coen Brothers movie Fargo. Spoiler alert, it was quite good. I got my next Twilight Zone video coming up about the legendary episode The Howling Man. That's going to be fun to discuss. And then next episode of Life in the Movies podcast with myself and Jacob Martin, we're going to be talking about the Batman and the fact that it's 3 hours long. And he's also going to entertain me with famous stories about Alfred Hitchcock's early career and how, despite the fact that we all know him for Psycho and The Birds and a lot of others, it's pretty safe to say that his talkies were weird. Like, his early talkies were weird. And so Jacob's going to do a whole thing about that, and that's going to be so much fun. And then looking at my board, it looks like the next Sunday video is going to be a big video about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is a movie that I love and is going to be in it in my Better Than You Remember format, because even though everyone I've spoken to about it loves it, the movie still did not do well at the box office. So it just compels me to make a video on it. That's all I'll say.
Well, great. Yeah, y'all should definitely subscribe. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, the Hallmarkies podcast. Lots of fun stuff going on over there. And so please take a look. We got some fun interviews and other recaps going on, previews at Hallmarkies podcast. So please take a look at that. And also the End Just Like That and Heartland. So 2 TV reviews going on right now. So please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Would appreciate that so much. And also, if you could give your ratings on iTunes, we certainly appreciate that. And we also have the Patreon group and merch store. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.